It's time to go fast. Carbon X fast. Let's go.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. In fact, a highly anticipated review, oft requested and finally fulfilling. Today, I am reviewing the Hoka One Carbon X. Let's just start with talking about the hype for this shoe. Hoka has spent some serious marketing cash on marketing their brand new Go Fast road shoe. From Project Carbon, their multi-distance, multi-record breaking live stream, to the amount of money that they spent on social advertising and media creation, this has essentially been marketed as Hoka One's next big long-distance speed shoe. It features a carbon fiber plate right through the midsole, very similar to Nike's Zoom Fly, which I have also reviewed and didn't really like. It's also designed to be responsive, snappy, and propel athletes forward faster. Seems like a simple concept, but a lot of engineering and a lot of money went into designing this shoe. So let's dig in. Am I gonna fly like Walmsley? Or does the Carbon X suffer from too much marketing for its own good? Do mid-packers and regular runners like myself even belong in a shoe like the Carbon X? Sit back and let's dig in to the Hoka One Carbon X. As with all of my reviews, I like to talk about the things that I like and dislike, starting, as always, with things that I like. The carbon plate, listen, this shoe, with the help of that carbon plate through the midsole, is stiff. I mean, seriously stiff. It actually takes a lot of strength to even attempt to bend this shoe, and trust me, I'm very strong. As a byproduct, the shoe does exactly what it is intended to do. It uses that carbon plate to snap and propel the runner forward. The stiffness of the plate even allows bigger runners like myself to benefit from that wonderful, fun feeling of propulsion. It is a fun feeling, and I can see, even if through placebo, runners gaining some PRs through this shoe. If you do remember from my review of the Nike Zoom Fly, I really didn't like the carbon plate technology. I thought that in combination with the foam in that shoe didn't work well at all. In this place, the carbon plate is very obvious, but it isn't something that's making me dislike the shoe more for its just overarching stiffness. It works, and it's still fun. The upper. So actually one of the best things I like about this shoe is the fact that the upper is so thin and so airy. It's incredibly light. I wish they would put this in more shoes on more platforms, just because I have been liking it so much. From the reinforced lacing holes to the embroidery along the heel counter and ankle collar, I think that all works in combination to help make this shoe hold its shape, hold its form, and the addition of the gusseted tongue helps the midfoot fit a little bit better. Overall, well-balanced upper, still holding up pretty well, as I was expecting it to be one of the first things to break down in the shoe. The ProFly X. So I've talked about ProFly midsole material in other Hokas and previous reviews, but the ProFly X is this new midsole that they're talking about that goes through the midfoot, carbon plate, then a rubberized foam as more of an outsole material. But the ProFly X retains a very resilient and responsive feel. It is not a plush experience or a cloud-like experience that you might get from other Hokas, not even remotely, but it does have enough stack to give you a bit of give, so you're not fighting the carbon plate the entire time. You have a midsole working with you to help make the shoe a bit more comfortable. It allows this shoe to work for someone like me whose top speed is a fraction of the elites who've been rocking this shoe and gaining PRs, breaking records. Unlike something like the Zoom Fly that I've mentioned a couple times already, which felt very unforgiving, felt like a brick on the foot, and was designed purely with the elite in mind. And finally, weight. The shoe is incredibly light. In size 11, my size, 6.9 ounces. For a race shoe with this much stack height, a carbon plate and all of that, 6.9 ounces is ridiculous. It's amazingly light. I like light. That being said, it's not all cake pops and Santa Claus. There are some things that I dislike about the Carbon X. Bet you didn't see that coming. Let's get to those, starting with form. So I'm gonna try to be specific here, but one of the biggest downsides was the actual shape of the shoe and the way that the midsole is formed. One of the first things I noticed about the shoe is just the narrowness through the midfoot and into the forefoot, and also the curvature of the shoe favoring the medial side, causing an odd forefoot shape that won't work with everyone's foot. Then the midsole itself has some odd shapes and bumps through the arch, through the lateral side that do cause not discomfort, but an odd sensation when you first put these shoes on. You'll get used to it after 10-20 miles in the shoe overall, but because that midsole material is so stiff, resilient, responsive, you're gonna notice a lot of the imperfections in the shape of it. I call them imperfections, but I also realize it could very well be purposeful shape. It's just not the most comfortable surface underfoot. In addition, it feels like you're standing on the shoe rather than in the shoe. Some people won't consider that a bad thing, especially in a shoe like this that is meant to go fast, keeping you on your mid forefoot. propelling you forward. But for me, I want to feel at one with the shoe, and I never quite felt like that in the Carbon X. Along those same lines, narrowness, the shoe through the midfoot fits fine on my foot. I don't have a necessarily wide forefoot, but those who do, or those who are sensitive to a narrower forefoot, will notice this one right off the bat. I had some issues with my peaky toe getting a little bit hung up here on the lateral side of the forefoot. Plenty of space for my big toe, which again kind of leans towards that curvature of the design of the shoe. I mean, I get it. It's designed for a more tight, performance-oriented fit. It won't work for everyone. I found I enjoyed it more over time as my foot got used to that shape. Just want to make you aware. Along those same lines, the shoe is not for everyone. Despite being a mid-packer, I did enjoy a lot of my time in the Carbon X, more than I actually anticipated. As a mid-packer, would I find myself going out to the running store and buying a pair of these shoes for myself? Certainly if I was buying into that marketing hype, but there are a lot of caveats with the shoe, with that shape, with that fit, that will keep a lot of people from ever getting comfortable in the shoe. I mean, listen, the shoe is specifically designed for speed, propulsion, and they're pretty unforgiving if you're not used to that carbon fiber plate, that extremely responsive midsole. If you're expecting a fast cloud, it's not necessarily that. And finally, price. It's $180 for this shoe. There is a lot of marketing that needs to be paid for, obviously, a lot of bills to pay, but at $180, that is a very expensive shoe. Customers should surely know what they're getting into. It's just a lot of cash to fork over for a shoe that is essentially designed as a race shoe. But that, my friends, is it for dislikes about the Hoka One Carbon X. I'm pleasantly surprised by this shoe. So, in conclusion, this is probably one of the better uses of the carbon plate that I've seen in a running shoe. It certainly outdid my expectations. I've had a lot of fun running in this shoe, doing workouts in this shoe. It feels fast and will certainly make you feel quicker. They will take some time for your body to adapt to. I do recommend you take at least 2 weeks just sort of bringing it into your rotation, slowly increasing your time in the shoe over that period. Just don't want it to tear up your Achilles or your calf muscles. And the balance of the carbon plate and that ProFly X midsole material is actually pretty nice balance. It's a less harsh ride than other carbon plate shoes. I do think anyone can run in this shoe, not just elites. Just be prepared for what you're getting. If you're looking for something soft that's going to be comfortable for a marathon distance or a half marathon, there are better options out there, not only from Hoka One, but other brands. But if you're looking for a shoe that could potentially move you faster, or at least make you feel like you are a race-oriented, performance, snappy, quick, responsive shoe, this is going to be right up there with some of the best, especially at the weight that it comes in at. That being said, let's get a little bit more specific. Build quality, the Carbon X is actually holding up far better than I anticipated. This upper isn't showing a lot of signs of wear, which is pretty surprising to me. The outsole itself, pretty dang resilient. I'm really happy. Comfort, I have talked about it throughout this entire review. Don't expect pillows. I can't imagine you would. I want to liken the comfort of this shoe to a big blob of oobleck. Like, the harder you want to go in this shoe, the stiffer it feels. Might be the first time I've actually referenced oobleck in a review. The fit, true to size. I wear size 11 in all shoes, size 11 in this shoe, no different. Expect that narrowness through the mid and forefoot. That will be an issue for some people. Price at $180. And for a race-oriented shoe, that is a lot of money. That's definitely one of those price points I go, they're paying for the marketing. And finally, looks. I mean, if you're into orthopedic looking shoes, then yay. I admire the bold choice of white with complementary color, whether it's blue or the new red version. How very dad shoe of them. But it's not lost on me that if you wear these shoes, you are now the person that is wearing a Carbon X shoe on your foot. So you are now that person. So you better perform. And moving on to our final criteria, is the Hoka One Carbon X a buy, try, or a why? I'm gonna say this is a try. I think this is kind of one of those shoes that if you are in a store, you see it on the shelf, try it on, put your foot in it, let's see what it actually feels like. Just because you run a mid-pack time or a back of the pack time doesn't mean you're not worthy of putting the shoe on your foot. So give it a shot, see what it's like. I encourage people to try this sort of shoe. It is going to be stiff for a lot of people. It might help a lot of people feel faster, even if through a placebo effect. So those are my thoughts on the Hoka One Carbon X. What are yours? In the comments of this video, let me know what you think of the shoe. Have you bought a pair for yourself? Have you been running in it? If you want more information about the shoe or you want to get a pair for yourself, I have links in the description that take you to Running Warehouse. They're affiliate links. They help the channel. You don't have to do anything. You don't pay anything. Use them if you can. If you're a Patreon supporter, coupon codes, a lot of good stuff happening. But that, my friends, is it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/thegingerrunner. Social media links, they do things on other sites. I encourage you to follow along for all of our journeys and adventures. We have some serious reviews coming up, so you're not going to want to miss any of those, including this, the Koros Vertix, that's coming up. New reviews for Topo shoes, New Balance shoes, Adidas shoes, we got it all. And it's all happening very, very soon. It's gonna be a very fun, busy summer. Follow along. won't you? And if you want to support anything that we're doing here at all, keeping the lights on and the mics hot, patreon.com/thegingerrunner. For as little as $1 a month, you do help everything that happens here. And you get some cool perks, including that running warehouse discount code I told you about. That, my friends, is it. I hope you're getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying the hardest, maybe even adding a little carbon to your footprint. I've literally just sat here for about 15 seconds angry at myself for making that joke, so I think this is an appropriate place to end it. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye!